All right. Hello there. Hey everyone. Peace be upon you all. In previous video, we have discussed about coordinates alignment. So in this video, we will be discussing about the applications of these techniques in Mapinfo for a specific purpose. Um, so let's get started. Assume we have this workspace, our workspace file with several tables in it, and one of raster image format as a base map. And as you may notice here, we also have a scale bar and north arrow object. So what we are going to do is uh, we would like to create we are going to create a layout window. So in our layout window later afterwards, we would like to draw some objects that respect to uh, some kind specific objects in our map. Well, assume we would like to create a, let's say, scale bar in layout window later afterwards. So many of Mapinfo users are get stuck or get stumbled in drawing scale bar in layout view. As we may know that drawing scale bar in map view is relatively very easy. We only need to employing this toolbars, draw scale bar toolbar, and then click uh, in at any area on our map. Let's say I would like to put scale bar here, and then we will be prompts into scale bar options, what length of our scale bar, what is the unit, and then the height and width ratio. Put into the defaults. Let's say we'll put the scale bar width into 500 meters. When I hit OK, automatically the scale bar is created. So what am I going to do next is I would like to create scale bar with the same exactly the same size with our scale bar in our map view. Actually, I have two scale bar in addition to these ones, but it's okay because our purpose and this discussions is creating scale bar in layout window, so we can use any one of these. So let's go to our layout window. In order to create layout window, we only need to go to window menu and drop down to new layout window or by pressing F5 on keyboards. All right, then just hit OK once again. Automatically the layout window or printed map with window, if I want to say that, uh, automatically created. So this is our layout window. If you want to see the actual printed versions, you only need to right click on our layout window and drop down to view actual size. All right, so this is our layout window with actual size or with the printed size of view. uh, Actually, when you notice on the toolbar here, the draw scale bar tools is also active, but I'm not recommend you to use these tools in order to draw scale bar on layout window. So yeah, for example, when you insist employing these tools to draw scale bar on layout window, and when you clicking somewhere on the layout area, so we'll be prompt to this warning. So uh, I don't want to be bothered with this stuff, so just cancel it. So what am I going to do is uh, we have already created a scale bar from the map window, right? So our missions now is just need to retrace or recreate or redraw this scale bar in layout. So how to do that? Well, by implementing our previous technique, previous discussions, we are going to draw a rectangle with the same size of this picture. Actually, the matter of the size, it's only the width of this rectangle. So, I mean the horizontal width. So, uh, how to do that? We only need to use rectangle tools in order to draw rectangles, and then trace one of the rectangles of the scale bar. Uh, in order to allow me to draw a rectangle more easily, I would like to activate crosshair by pressing C on keyboard. So when I pressing C, the crosshair is active. So it looks more easily to retrace the object. For example, I want to put a rectangle in this top black rectangle. Okay, overlay it. So it may not be precisely in terms of the size, but it's okay because we can rearrange the object later. So I would like to create it once more uh, below this rectangle to the white one. I don't need to draw it once again. I only need to duplicate this rectangle in order to keep the size or the properties of this rectangle by Control C and then Control V on keyboard. So now I have two rectangles. I just want to deactivate the crosshair cursor to set it back into normal by pressing C once again on keyboard. So automatically it's disappear. The crosshair it's disappear. So this is gonna be we have two rectangles actually by using marquee select. All right, select these two rectangles and then go back to the normal select cursor and then click and drag the object downwards. So we're about to separate our rectangle to uh, what we call this scalable reference. And when well right now we only need to separate these two rectangles in order to mimic this uh, scale bar. So by all right, unselect this rectangle first and then click the top rectangle. Automatically we will be clicking the top of this rectangle. Remember we have two rectangles in here. So by holding control uh, uh, on keyboards and then tapping your finger on down arrow button on keyboards, so we are separating this rectangle. Yeah, all right. Do this until we have completely separate these two rectangle, but do not let this one of the rectangle uh, having a distance to each other in order to keep it just attached or uh, below side of rectangle, the top side of the belonging rectangles is attaching or touching uh, the bottom side of the top rectangles. So now I have two rectangles with the same size, and what am I going to do next is I would like to create a line with respect to parallel to the border of this um, scale bar. So I only need to go to Polyline or maybe line. It's okay. You can use one of this, and by pressing C on keyboard in order to activate the crosshair mode, and then yep, as much as possible, we need to keep uh, put the polyline or line attaching the edge of this scale bar. Make sure that your snapping tool is inactive So the sign when the snapping tool is active is we see, if you may see, if we notice here our cursor, it's is a circle is appear in the center of the crosshair of the cursor. So make sure the snapping mode is inactive. All right, by pressing S or S once again to make it to deactivate it, and then hold Shift on keyboards in order to keep a the polyline in straight displacement. So as you may see here, I want to unactivate the crosshair first. So when you're holding Shift, as long as the snapping mode is inactive, we can control uh, the straight line to keep it in straight displacements. So and click it somewhere in here. Now pressing escape, I will do the same procedure to another what we call another a boundary of this scale bar rectangles. I'm gonna put it uh, right here as well. All right, as much as possible because this line will be acting as our reference coordinates. Uh, all right, all right. I'm gonna put change the color into red to make you to in order to set it more visible because our grid coordinate line also have same color. I'm gonna change it to red. Okay, we have red line, straight polyline to be acting as a coordinate reference. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to shift this object by uh, resizing these rectangles with respect to each of uh, this polyline boundary. Okay, hopefully you get the idea what I'm talking about. So it's okay. For example, oops, I would like to uh, stretching this left edge, this left side of this rectangle to attaching this line. So in order to do that, double click on this line because this line is already in straight line. So the boundary X and the boundary Y and the boundary X1 and the boundary X2 as well as the center X is uh, have the same coordinates. So it's okay for me to selecting any one of this by blocking this value and then pressing Ctrl C on keyboard, and I go to my rectangles, double click it, and then I go to X1 boundary. So I'm gonna shift this side uh, with respect to copied coordinate that I made. So when I hit OK, automatically this will be stretched and attach the line on the left. So I'll do the same procedures on the following rectangle. Oh, excuse me. All right, all right. So this rectangles is already fit the left side of our scale bar. So we'll do the same things on the right side of the rectangle. I copy the X boundary and now I go to the boundary X2 down here because X1 is defined by this side. So on the other hand, the X2, otherwise the X2 is um, representing the right side. Okay, I'll do the same procedure right here. All right, everything is perfectly done. So what am I going to do to fill the next space right here, this rectangle and this longer one? When you have already understood the concept that what we have just done, uh, this actually very much more easier, right? So what am I going to do is I'm going to select uh, both of these rectangles by selecting this the top one and then holding shift button and select the another rectangles belowing this top rectangles. I'm going to use Ctrl C on keyboard and paste it one time. So now I have duplicates of these two rectangles. So when I'm clicking the first one, so what am I going to do is I'm going to go right here, double click it, and I'm going to copy the value of this polyline. I'm going to go to the first. Actually, you're going to put it somewhere here, right? Because the first one, this side still attaching this line. Because we're copying this reference, so the boundary x2 of this top rectangle will be attached to this line. So, but you can do that actually, and then fixing the x1 boundary in order to stretch shrinks the a rectangle width. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into boundary x1. So I'm going to flip this rectangle. All right, it's perfectly flipping up, and then as you may see it's separated with the first one, so it's automatically will be flipped. The same procedure will can also be applied to another rectangles. I'm going to put it into boundary x1. All right, okay, it's very fast and very easy apparently. So we can duplicate these two rectangles and then go to another uh, straight line reference and then pick the value by selecting the x boundary value and then hit Ctrl C on keyboard and then go to our rectangles, put it in bound x1. Automatically the rectangle will be flipped. Do the same procedure to uh, another rectangle, hit Ctrl V once again, automatically it should be flipped. So what next? So actually we already have the same size of what we call this scale bar on our layout window. So now we only need to adjust the uh, rectangle colors in order to fit what standard uh, scale bar is. For example, the top one, I'm gonna change the rectangle, the object color into black, right? So opposite side diagonally, uh, we're going to change the rectangle color into black. So that's this one either, right? Automatically, we already have a very nice, clean, and same rectangle size. All right. By holding shift button, we can selecting our line. Now use marquee select in order to click and dragging our uh, scale bar. And now the last thing is putting a the unit measurements of our scale bar. So it is going to be 0 to 250 until 500 meters. And okay, put the dimension unit in the bottom of a scale bar. Excuse me. It's in meters, international standard. All right, all right. So now you may wondering these three value is not lining each other in straight line, but it's okay. We can implementing the same process as we have recently we have just done, right? I would like to drag this 250 and 500 unit value to become parallel to uh, this zero value with respect to y-axis, right? But at first, I would like to put this value right in center, right? It's a little bit it seems like a little bit more manual, but I think it's not really cumbersome. It's not really difficult as it is, because it is more satisfying and more uh, what we say more makes sense, more plausible than making a default uh, drawing scale bar menu. I mean drawing scale bar tools. All right. Now I'm going to pick the y coordinate reference of the zero value, and then I'm going to dragging this number with, in order to be parallel to this one with respect to y value. So that's to the 500 unit value. We are going to put it parallel center with each other. So now we have our scale bar. All right, we can put it. No, excuse me. I'm dragging my map. Now the object just drawn. Hold the shift button, click the map, and all you need to do is dragging our new scale bar, put it somewhere into the safe place. So that's all for today. Have a great successful day, and hopefully this will be beneficial for you. And see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.